I'm gonna pull up y'all phone.
The views and opinions expressed in this program are not necessarily those of its hosts, Urban Arts Enterprises, its advertisers, or affiliates, and are those of the speakers and do not necessarily reflect any views or positions of any entities they represent. The information in this podcast is for educational purposes only and do not constitute legal or medical advice. What up, what up, what up? Y'all know what time it is. It is 7 o'clock on a Tuesday, so y'all know it's Inside Stepping time. And ladies and gentlemen, this is a very special edition of Inside Stepping. We have some very important information to convey to the entire Stepping diaspora globally. So I want you all to make sure that you tag somebody, touch somebody, and say hi to your neighbor or whatever it is that you need to do in order to make sure that this information is put out and put into the pipes of those who need to smoke it. You dig? Because we got something, y'all know in the last year or so, I've been saying things like the tide is turning, things are changing, stuff is happening. We're seeing a shift in our communities across the nation. And this is yet another of those days. And I want to be sure that we are able to convey this information to you and make sure that everyone gets what they need. Linda Sanders, how are you? Thank you for checking in. Walida Lee, I see you. Kenneth Wynn in the building. Joyce Taylor, how are you? Sharissa Sanders, hey. Hey, Val Wells, what's going on? Teresa, what's up, baby? I see you. She said, hey, Poppy. Hey, producer lady. We see y'all. Thank you for coming in. David Calhoun, my main man, 50 grand. Go back like 2 flats on a Cadillac. I see you, player. So, yeah, anyway, we're going to be having some in-depth discussion now. I want to encourage each and every one of you to be prepared to ask questions or give your feedback in regard to this situation. And we will do our best to convey the information to you best way we can. Hey, man. Okay, so with that said, you guys, with no further ado, let me go ahead and we're going to go on and get this thing cracking. We're gonna go on and get it cracking right now. Margaret Simple Shoes, I see you. Jeannie Shoe Girl Jackson in the house. I got all my shoe girls in the building. Deborah Edwards, I see you. Miss Bobby, how you doing? Bernice Portis, I see you. Hey, Avis, that's my homie right there. That's my big sister over there in the ATL. Denise Gilden, how are you? Okay, so with no further ado, ladies and gentlemen, let me introduce to you 2 gentlemen that really need no introduction. And if you don't know who they are, well, you probably are either very, very, very new to this community or you've been living under a rock. But I know a lot of y'all like to sometimes hide your heads in the sand, so you know how that goes. But in the meantime and in between time, Khalid King out there in Vegas. What's going on, baby? With no further ado, ladies and gentlemen, let me introduce to you Mr. Pete Frazier and Mr. Snoopy King in the building. Gentlemen, how are you this evening?
Blessed by the best, Brian.
Hey, what's up with you, Brian?
Man, we here, baby. You know how we do Inside Stepping. We try to do our best to make sure the people get what they need out of this game. And both of you have absolutely been in that same wheelhouse for many, many years in facilitating and doing things around the community and across the country, and have made major contributions to that, which allows us all to enjoy what we do. And I'm going to give y'all flowers while y'all still here, because you know what I'm saying? We losing folks left and right. But I want to say that because I am happy to be able to say for myself that there are people in this community who still continue to move the ball forward the best way they know how, and it benefits everybody across the diaspora of the stepping game. So my thanks to you guys for all that you do as majestic gents and just individuals for doing all the things and the contributions that you've made to the community. So, Mr. Frazier, it is the bewitching hour. What is it that you need to give to the people? Or better yet, let me hold up before we go there. Is there anything that you want to preface before we get into the meat?
Well, no, I just want to thank everybody for chiming in on this. And I'd like to thank stepping out. I mean, you guys, Brian, you and your lovely wife, for doing what you guys doing for the community and it's keeping it rolling well. But along the way, everything has its room. And I'd like to first of all thank each and every one of you guys stepping from all over the world for participating and supporting the World Largest Steppers Contest, which is a Chicago held event where we bring a plethora of people all together under one roof to expose our talent. This dance called Chicago Step. And like I say, I'd like to thank you guys for that, first of all. And over the years, I've been doing this contest for approximately 24 years. This would be the 35th year going into this year. I've been getting a lot of calls over the last month, people concerned about tables and things like that. So I kind of been putting them off until I get a chance to make the decision on the way I want to move with this contest and everything and doing that. So I've been contemplating, talking to various different people. So I found no other than to find this gentleman I've been working with for a long time to be able to pass this torch to someone that I think that can actually hold down the fort when it comes to doing this contest because it takes a lot of effort and a lot of time and dealing with a lot of individuals. Our community, we know we don't have the easiest community to work with, but you guys are our family and we appreciate you guys so much in doing that. But dealing with us as people, we sometimes it's some of the hardest things. But I know a lot of times people don't mean no harm, but it is what it is. But I like to let the public know and the steps community to know that I'm actually passing that torch along to my man Snoopy King because he's a hardworking guy, and I've been working with him for several years. He's a part of the Majestic Gents as well as Snoop and the crew, and I cannot choose no other person that I can think of right now that is in a position to really handle this thing the way it needs to be handled and doing that. So that's what we're on this platform right now. Then you guys know the 35th annual World Lion Steppers Contest will go on, but the man that will be holding that torch from here on now on will be Snoopy King. But I'm gonna work with him the first year to kind of guide him through the things that he need to know going into this thing and doing that. I'm not gonna leave him hanging out, in the cold trying to figure the thing out because it's not a hard thing, but it's definitely a big event to deal with when you're trying to cross the T's and dot the I's, you know. And congratulations, Snoop. I couldn't ask a better person.
Uh-oh.
It's an
Uh,
honor. It's an honor, man. It's an honor. It's a blessing. That speaks volume. Um, Man, you just don't know, Pete. I've been following you. I've been working with you. And even the first day when you asked me to become a gent, you've been like that role model for me to follow. You taught me how to do business. You taught me how to deal with business. I've learned a lot from you. And it's just, man, it's an honor. I appreciate you. Man, I'm speechless on it for real. I'm really speechless on it, but I thank you. I would not let you down. Um, and I just need your support, everybody else support, for all of us to make this happen.
And I definitely need you guys to give him the same support you guys gave me. But I mean, Snoop is a hell of a guy, man. He's a hardworking guy. The man been working hard ever since I've known him. He gonna give you 110% of whatever. And like I say, a lot may not change, but he's at the helm. So some of the things that he see that he may want to change along the way, like I say, this is his baby, and this is and make those changes and do what you have to do in a responsible manner, and everything will work out for you. You know. And that's the thing about it. Like I told him, it seems like it's easy, but it's not easy because preparing for this contest and getting ready for this contest and trying to satisfy those that enter into this contest as well as the people to come out to support the contest. So we've been over a lot of hurdles, but we always go over hurdles when it comes to this dance. But we have a chance to really get a chance to make it through those hurdles, move forward with what we love to do, which is the Chicago Step-In. You know.
well, dig that. Okay. So with that said, First, let me say to you, Snoopy King, congratulations. Um, Knowing that you are a member of what I would like to refer to as an elite organization within the Steppers community, in fact, the cream of the crop, if you will, um, I'm confident that you, especially having been under the tutelage, as you spoke about, of Mr. Frazier, should be able to handle the um, ups and downs of what's to come. um, because as we all know, the minute you throw your hat into the ring, you dig in this game, you get nice big target on your back. Um, what are your immediate thoughts in regard to the movement of the event into your hands, and what can we as a community? And I'm not speaking to you as a um, show host right now. I'm speaking to you as a consumer. What can we expect from you in this regard? Will there be changes? Will you continue along the same lines as Pete has for many, many years brought this thing to, and it has been throughout whatever pitfalls and ups and downs, it has managed to survive and do well. What are your thoughts about what your intentions are moving into the future?
Well, Brian, first of all, man, um, my first and foremost love and respect is I give it honor to God, man. I appreciate God because He's the head of
Mm-hmm.
my household. He's the head of my life. It's a blessing I'm put into this position. I do nothing without prayer because prayer changes things, and I'm a firm believer of just that alone. So I will always keep him in the forefront. Um, like you said, Pete Frazier, like you said, he's been doing it himself for the last 24 years. But 2 years of that before that, which actually he's been doing it for 26 years, because 2 years before that, he was working with B103 at the time.
Right.
And B103 had the tutelage of it for 9 years. And then Pete, got in for the last 2 years and then he took over for the last 24. So Pete already been doing this thing, man. And honestly, Pete already done set the groundwork. He set the groundwork and stuff like that and the other.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't feel, I mean, you can't please everyone. That's one thing that I do
Right.
notice. You can't please everyone. Everybody got a lot to say and stuff like that and the other, but at the end of the day, it's just a voice. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
I've thought of a few changes that I thought about that I want to implement and stuff like that within the contest.
Right.
Um, but like they say, if if the wheel ain't broken, why try to fix it? You know what I mean?
Right. Right.
So I know that some people, a change, people don't like change. You know what I mean? So that's the
Absolutely
first
not.
and foremost. They don't like change. And
Mm-hmm.
sometimes, like they say, everything is evolving right about now. The whole evolution of the dance is going to a different amenity. It's going outside of Chicago. My biggest key and point that I used to always say is a dance that's sweeping the nation. Chicago is the Mecca. Chicago is the capital. It will continue to be the Mecca and the capital of this dance. And I want to keep this dance exactly the way it is.
Mm-hmm.
Um, few changes that I did bring up that I thought about that I wanted to implement. And let's be clear. When you make changes, it ain't gonna happen in just overnight. You know what I
Right.
mean?
Right.
Change is gonna come. I need everybody's support. I need everybody, man, just give me a chance, give me that opportunity. Um, I've been running business for the longest. For those that don't know me, I'm a jack of all trades. So managing things, that's never been a problem for me. You know what I
Mm-hmm.
mean? I know this is a big step into the step of arena. And I tell people all day long from where I came from and how I started. It
Right.
wasn't easy. And I'll tell you in a minute. I was on that short school bus with just a driver and myself with black tinted windows. So trust me,
Okay.
I came from the ground. But one thing, a few things I'm just gonna list off and stuff like that I'm thinking about implementing within the contest is I do want to go back to the prelims as far as disqualifications. I do want to go back to
Mm.
that.
Okay.
So my
I think
insight
that's a
as
great
far
start.
as yeah, that's the first key point that I want to get at. I want to get back to disqualifications. And what I mean as far as disqualifications, I know we have a lot of good dancers. We got a lot of lift steppers and stuff like that from state to state all over the place. Um, Me and Pete, we already got set up where we gonna be hosting, doing the prelims and stuff like that when we going out of town. But I feel like if a couple come in and they get on that floor, first of all, it takes a lot of heart. You already a winner from the start. You know what I'm saying? When you even put yourself out there to get on that floor, to
Hmm.
try to compete. But I also feel as if you get on that floor, every night might not just be your night. You know what I mean?
Right.
And that's the same thing when it goes into the big stage. To the big stage, you get people up there that's club dancers, but then when they get on the stage, they disappear. You know what I
Yep.
mean?
Yeah.
It happens. So my thing as far as disqualifications, I feel like doing the preliminaries and on them preliminary days, I want to do a disqualification. So doing that disqualification does not mean that you're out of the contest. What it means is you get two opportunities. If you get disqualified at a different state or something like that, you
Hmm.
have that opportunity to not only go sharpen your tools, get some work, get your game up because you're gonna have a few more weeks or a couple of more months before the world stage,
Hmm.
and then have the opportunity to go and have a preliminary and take the preliminary elsewhere. You can go to a different state. You could come to Chicago. Um,
I gotta ask you a question. Um,
uh-huh.
and I'm glad that you are of the mindset that you're going to implement some things that are going to give people a little bit different look on the way this thing works. However, I do have a question in that regard.
Sure.
Do you have a plan? And this is my speculation. I watch and see a lot of stuff. I don't say a lot sometimes about stuff that I see. I've had Pete and I have had a few different conversations about a couple of things that I pointed out that we had talked about in the past. But my question to you is, what plans, or have you made any plans toward making the contest more appealing to individuals as moving forward? And the reason I'm saying that is because if you go all the way back to the very first world's largest, it was huge because it was the first time anybody had done anything that big, and it was a necessity for elimination. So if you're going to
Hmm.
implement elimination, there would first have to be enough people that are willing to compete in the dance. And I personally believe that with all of the drama and the nonsense that has gone on over the last couple of years, there are a lot of people who have shied away from the dance, and a lot of people who are afraid because they're worried about other people pointing fingers at them and talking about them and going online dragging them and doing all kind of other stuff. So what do you intend to do to make it where there will be more participation on a competitive level within the dance, and make it where that the elimination is actually a necessity?
Okay, so now you're making me skip down to my last bullet point.
Oh,
Because
okay.
I got a few bullet points already
My
on that
man.
already. I already had that made up. So for those that don't know, I'm a people's person. I get along with
Mm-hmm.
everybody. There's not nobody I can say I don't get along with. I don't mind communicating. I don't mind on sticking my chest out every now and then. But I
Mm-hmm.
also know that ain't no bigger me, ain't no bigger you. You know what I mean? We all on the
Mm-hmm.
same plateau together.
Got you.
So me being an instructor for the last 23 years, I've been teaching this dance, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's time for me to even step outside of this network, step outside of Snoop and crew, and step into these other instructors. Support these other instructors. Get
Mm.
these other instructors on point. Give these instructors some kind of, what I'm saying, some incentive to get their students up to par, to get them on that contest, to get them on that floor. So not only just working with the instructors, but I also got down here that now this might be kind of exciting for some. Some might not like this, right? But like
Mm-hmm.
I said, change is gonna come because
Mm-hmm.
I've been hearing, I've been listening, I see this and see that, but it don't happen overnight, right? It
Mm-hmm.
don't happen overnight. Our biggest problem that I hear is people complain about the judging, right?
Mm-hmm.
So if I could get with these other instructors from state to state and get with them, these other party promoters and stuff like that, and the other to implement this dance and really push this dance to a whole different level and stuff like that,
Mm-hmm.
then I'll be okay with that. My other objective is, like I said, by me doing that, the night of the contest, right? Everybody want to know um, who the judges and stuff like that and the other. My aspect is I'm thinking, well, not thinking, this is what I want to implement. I want to have a lottery draw the night of the contest.
Mm-hmm.
That's how I want to pick my judges. I want to have a lottery draw. And having a lottery draw, they submit themselves inside of a hat or whatever the case it may be, and they randomly get picked. not only are they getting randomly getting picked, my thing is I want to be able to implement the fact I want the contest, the actual contest is crowd participation. I want 70% judges and I want 30% as far as crowd and audience. So the audience has a choice. They have a chance to get an opportunity to also put an input into that too as well. So that's a system that I'm actually trying to design and put together that we could use 70% on judges and 30% as far as crowd participation. Now I understand when people get the judging, they get the screaming and hollering for somebody that ain't did nothing on the floor.
Mm-hmm.
You
I'm
know what I
getting ready to
mean?
go there. You know I'm getting ready to go there.
They get the screaming and hollering for nothing on the floor, but because they like that individual, whatever the case it may be, they not really looking at the dance itself.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm still working on that. I got a few things in plan for that to occur, but I want to make this whole dance pleasing to those.
Okay.
So just like the qualifications, right? Those qualifications, when you're getting disqualified, you're not going to just get disqualified. I need that judge who judged you and disqualified you. I need him to let you know why you got that 7. Maybe you need to change your wardrobe, or excuse me, maybe you need to add some footwork. Also, give you some kind of toology and stuff like that to help build you up for the next time around and stuff like that and the other. So let them know it's nothing personal, but if I could say something to someone to help enhance their dance and stuff like that and the other, I would share it. I would give it to them.
Can
You know what
I
I mean?
let me offer you some food for thought while we're having this conversation openly and publicly. Having been a part of other competitive sports similar to this dance community, I'm just going to make these suggestions. You do with them what you will. Pete and I have had a couple of little discussions in the past in regard to the judging and things of that nature. In most areas of dance, particularly let's just use dance, period. If you look at any other dance genre, there's always, almost never, a crowd participation element, number one. Number two, because they have organization in place. Now, I'm going to go back to what you said earlier when you talked about the instructors, getting them together. There has to, at some point, if this dance is going to continue to further itself and the ball get moved the way that it should, at some point or another, there has to be a sanctioning body. Pete and I had this discussion before, where, and I'm not talking about some of the debacles that have taken place in the past. I'm talking about, for example, World's Largest has grown a personality of its own over the years. We all know what it is, regardless to who's running it, although each person has done their thing with it. But because of it being what it is, there's, at some point, there has to be, for example, a World's Largest governing body. And here's what I mean. The same way you go around to each city and you do the preliminaries, there needs to be what are considered reputable by that board instructors or people who are a part of that organization who are able to sanction. They have sanctioning bodies in each city that are a part of the World's Largest umbrella. And then therefore, when those people who want to dance, they come in from other instructors, whatever it is, and they say, okay, well, you have to go through this group or organization within this city to join that competition, which is, of course, what we want to see as the pinnacle of the dance community in regard to competition. And then from there, we are able to, by the time you get to Chicago, after having gone through those elimination processes and everything that are in place, you are now operating within a structure that allows for judges who have been properly informed about what the dance is, that there be compulsory moves, compulsory items on the list of things that need to be done in the dance in order for them to be judged accordingly, along with their creativity, which really is what should qualify them in the first place, those compulsory things. If they don't have those in their dance, then that should be, but these are the things that have to be laid out as a whole. I'm just putting this out here as food for thought, because until the dance itself becomes an organized entity, legally on paper, we are going to, well, it's actually done, but that's done. But the point is that it needs to be implemented to the point where the organization itself is able to gain the same respect and the same backing and body as the world's largest itself as a name, but as an actual entity. Okay, I'm shutting up now.
Well, Brian, you don't know this, or maybe you
Hmm.
do know this. Maybe about 7, 8 years ago. I know it's been a minute, or maybe it
Hmm.
ain't even been that long, right? So I also did that. I called different instructors and we all met into a room. We all went and broke bread together. We all had a
Hmm.
power out together. We all, at the end of that, it was no bigger you, no bigger I. All of us was feeding off of each other.
And
All of
that's
us
where
was
it should
asking
be.
each other.
Right.
All of us was asking each other, why you do the 8 count? Okay, let me explain that. Why you do the 6 count? Okay, we talked about foot patterns. We talked about turns. We actually started putting something together and implementing that already 7 years ago.
Okay,
Yeah,
good.
we kind of fell off. Yeah, we fell off of it and stuff like that and the other. But that's one of my key points why I want to give these all these instructors, because nothing could go into play like that until we all unite or come together. You always gonna have some kind of evils. It is what it is. You're gonna have some people that don't want to be a part of it too as well. But if majority of us get on board with one another, then that'll bring the dance. That'll cut out a lot of this hoop hot and all this kind of stuff and the other about instructors. So I was never a territorial instructor, right? So when people come to me, they learn this dance. I might not be the instructor for them.
Hmm.
So they might go to somebody else or whatever the case may be. And the same thing, vice versa. I'm not no police when it come down to my student. You see what I'm saying? So that was something that all of us talked about. That was something, that we took hours in doing this, sitting down, going over the basic fundamentals, going over the basic counts, how we should start, how we should not start. Um, I invited a few more in to my class, showed them how I do things, and I want
Hmm.
to see how they do things. So it's never an ego for me. You know what I mean? I love this dance. That's what it is. I love this dance. So it was never about a monetary blessing because heck, I got 19 more jobs. You know what I mean? So it was just about a
Right.
hobby and teaching somebody this dance and getting them on the floor, and share with them the same passion that I have and the love for the dance. And that's it. So
Okay.
that's part of like when I say get with these other instructors, get outside of the box, go to these different communities and stuff like that, and see if we all can come together on something. You know what I mean? And
Hmm.
try to have some kind of standard all the way around the board. And I think once we get ourselves together, that's going to attract other people who want to get into this dance or don't have no problem with saying, hey, I went over there to Snoop and got this. But guess what? I went over to Doc and I got this. Guess what? I went over, you know what I mean? It's just, everybody feeding off of one another and stuff like that and the other, because at the end of the day, it's all about this dance. And that's what I
Hmm.
want to protect the most.
Okay. Well, it sounds like you have gotten quite a bit of you're on your way so far. Well, I have a question here from a
And I have an answer.
okay. This here we go. Miss Sunshine Haywood.
Uh-huh.
She says, I have a question for Snoop. Snoop, I am speaking as an instructor who has contributed to this community for years. As a contestant myself, and as someone who has put students into the contest, you're stepping into leadership, and it is publicly known that you have a personal relationship to the point that the woman calls you her best friend with someone who has been involved in repeated public conflicts within the community and who has also stated publicly that you are the only person she listens to. This is not hearsay. These are things that have been said openly and directly. So my question is, what specific safeguards, boundaries, and enforcement measures will you have in place to ensure that your best friend does not impact safety, access, or accountability within the contest and at the event?
Sunshine Haywood.
Mm-hmm.
Listen, behind closed doors, I know exactly what friend you talking about. And I do have conversation with her, right? It's not my job to police nobody because everybody is human. Some people just use certain platforms to do what they do. But at the same token, them same people that put fuel on the fire, they need to learn to have and learn how to accept accountability. When you own up to your own accountability and keep it 100, because if anybody can ask you, I keep it always 100, right? So if you own up to your own responsibility, you keep it 100. Ain't no saints out here. We all fall short one way or another. You know what I mean? But who am I to judge anyone? I can't judge anyone. But I feel like if you want to throw a rock, it all depends on how far that rock gonna go, because that rock gonna get thrown right back at you. You know what I'm saying? So own up to accountability. I feel like a lot of this stuff that's going on in the stepping scenes is accountability. And I feel like if a person own up to their accountability, a lot of this stuff is seized. They'll put water on top of it. Because sometimes
I
only
think
thing
we
a
all
person
agree
want
with
to
you on
know
that one.
is
We
only
definitely agree with you on that.
absolutely. And sometimes that same individual that might just be hurt, they might be hurt, but sometimes you just don't know. Apology will go a long way. If they can
Yes, it would. It
apologize
absolutely
and
would.
accept, you know what I mean? Okay, guess what? All right, you're right. You're right. I did this. I did that. I apologize. Sometimes you got to learn to be the bigger you. But if you keep on throwing rocks and feel like those rocks ain't gonna hit you back, that's totally on you. That has nothing to do with what I'm doing. You know what I mean? But I feel like that as a whole, it's either inside the steppers arena or outside the steppers arena. If all of us are accountability for what we do, because ain't nobody perfect. But it's okay to say, listen, I apologize. I'm sorry. It goes a long way.
Yep. Well, we all agree there. That's for sure. Um, well, he's nah, we ain't gonna do that. So anyway, moving forward, what are y'all's plans for the upcoming world's largest this year? What is that gonna look like with you? I guess mid-year taking moving into this space.
Well, we're gonna keep everything the same. We keeping everything the same. The tables will be the same. So me and Pete already talked about it and stuff like that in the other. He has a heck of a folder for everyone who been purchasing their tables, who want to secure their tables. There's no price increase, which everybody know that there's been a price increase everywhere, even within the event within itself. But guess what? I'm gonna take total control of this, and I'm gonna keep everything exactly the way it was. It was $60 VIP. I'm going back $60 VIP. $35
Okay.
at the door. I'm going back $35 at the door. Ringside seats also $125. But everybody know that there is a heck of an inflation within the within the country right about now. That's all over the place. You know what I mean? But I want to keep things fair. I want to keep the love of the dance. I want to keep it on the wood. And like I said, I just need everyone stand by me, support me, help me. Like I said, Pete Frazier, he said, see, yesterday he said 2, 3 years. Today he said, yeah. But
Uh,
I know I could call on Pete anytime I want to.
yeah, that's a
He
good thing,
said,
Pete. Yeah, Pete. You know he's gonna be blowing your phone up. So I got a question here from Miss Ernestine Johnson. She says, "Can Houston get a prelim?" Which brings me to my next question. Are you going to limit, or has there, Pete? You could probably help me answer this as well. Has there ever been a limit to what cities can have a prelim? Are they regional, or what are your plans in regard to moving forward? Now, if you are able to implement bringing more people into the dance nationally on a competitive level, what will that look like in terms of preliminaries moving forward? And where
Okay,
will
what
they
it
be?
is, okay, we actually got things in place, but, we actually trying to bring, like, Houston is a good idea. I think I talked, a young lady came to me with that, but I didn't have the particulars because I was trying to get ready for this whole, passing the torch thing. But, like, when I do a prelim in LA, I try to keep that prelim, not have two or three in there. Like I do Atlanta, I do Vegas, but, we've never had a prelim in the Texas area. So this young lady, I can't think of her name, but she was talking to me about doing a prelim. And, I think I don't know if it was Houston or if it was in Dallas, but I got to look at my notes. I think I wrote a number down. So we actually have our basic prelim in place already. We just had to put the literature out yet because we wanted to finalize this. So I know we're gonna be in Atlanta on June, the first weekend in June. We're gonna be in LA in July. We're gonna be in Milwaukee. Then we got a couple of the others, Detroit, Whitey Max White Party weekend. So we have some of the cities that we've had over the years, but we definitely in place to add some newer cities in that
Okay.
aspect. So that way we got a prelim in Dallas. We may be able to do one in Houston, but we try to stay one per city versus
Right.
saying, okay, I want to do two and stuff like that. To try to get more people to compete in that one city as well as help the promoter that's actually sponsoring that prelim. You know what I'm saying? So like if I got Chicken Wing doing a prelim in Atlanta,
Right in Atlanta.
and then say I want to do one in Atlanta. So now people are gonna have too many choices. So let's go and get it in and get it out the way because time become of the essence when it comes to doing these prelims and doing that. So that's definitely a thing we're gonna try to actually do more prelims or try to get more people involved in the prelims. So opposed to a lot of them waiting, just like when I go down to Detroit, we have so many Detroit contestants that come into Chicago for the last chance prelim. You would try to get a lot more of them to participate in the Rodney White Party weekend in the prelims as well. You see what I'm saying?
So yeah, and that was going to be like kind of a follow up. Is there going to be is there going to be a sort of a limit? And what I mean by limit is will a promoter be responsible for making sure that X amount of couples are going to be a part of the prelim? As of like, in other words, you're gonna fly all the way out to California for 3 couples, like.
Just like the young lady I think in Houston, like I told her, I think if you're going to pick up this prelim, you have to promote the prelim. I'm saying we're going to be promoting on this end, but as a promoter pushing that prelim in that city, it's better if that person's promoting that prelim as well as us promoting on the outside to get people that interested in coming in there, being in the prelim versus coming all the way to another city and you got, like I said, 1 or 2 people preliminary versus that in that aspect. And then we do the last chance prelim. We got 40 couples coming to Chicago to prelim. We want to make those prelims just exciting going to those cities if they are coming to Chicago. I don't know if there's some in Chicago that make out of towners still, because that's the purpose of doing it out of town. So we give those individuals where they don't have to pay for flights, pay for room and board, to come to Chicago to do a prelim. They can do a prelim and closer to their city, where they can come in and do it.
Okay, so right quick on the, are you going to, Snoop, are you going to be keeping the same sort of seating arrangements that were used in the past at the world's largest?
Yes, I'll be keeping the same seating arrangement, the same that was used. So it'll be the same setup, 60 VIP tables, maybe 40 ringside VIP seats. I also want to give the ones that's been the faithfuls, because we have a lot of faithfuls. I want to give them the chance and the opportunities to get their tables or get their seats. So I definitely want to be, I'm not just stripping tables away from everybody. We have the information and stuff like that, and
Yeah,
the
you gonna
other
have a
who
fight on your
usually get
hands. You
these
do that.
tables. Yeah, so we ain't trying to do that. You know what I mean? So I'm not trying to open it up like that, but I will be. Well, me and Pete will be reaching out to the ones who normally get the tables, the ones that normally get the ringside seating, and see if they want to get theirs. And we're going to give them a first chance before we put all the information out there as far as getting their tables. But that was an interesting question you asked, and Pete said, because me and Pete did talk about that, like different cities and stuff like that, that's hosting events and stuff like that. Talk about bringing the preliminaries to them. So, I mean, we don't want to flood it with preliminaries all over the place, because, like you said, we want to have more than. I don't want to just go all the way up there and you got 2 people, or we fight
Right.
to try to get somebody to compete and stuff like that and the other. We don't want that, but we also want it to be entertainment. We want it to be fun. And this world largest, I want to be able to give somebody to look forward to, look at on that stage. I don't want it to be boring. You know what I mean? I want it to be live. I want you to be fired up. Back in the days, it was very interesting. You know what I'm saying? So I want to
Hmm.
take it back there. I got a halftime artist already. I got Michelle Young, Michelle Young. She's
Michonne,
coming in.
yeah,
She's gonna perform.
yeah.
Michelle, she's gonna perform through the halftime show. So I'm trying to implement some things and try to make some things. But yeah,
Well,
we,
I'm
we
I'm
got
going
some
to
work to do.
suggest. I'm going to make a suggestion to you. This is a Brian Forbes suggestion.
Hmm.
That you, as the what I would like to refer to as the new ambassador of the dance, moving
Hmm.
forward, for because you now become the face of stepping across the country. I mean, we all know Pete. We all love Pete. We've been hanging around Pete. I've been hanging around Pete since the early '80s. Uh, but with that, you have an opportunity to promote a friendlier atmosphere, a more inclusive atmosphere that will allow people to want to compete. Because I fear personally that a lot of people don't compete and they don't contribute or participate in a lot of things because of all of the extracurricular nonsense that goes on, the unnecessary stuff that comes into this community that doesn't belong here, where we should be dancing. And I would encourage you, and this is just me, Brian Forbes, talking to my man Snoop. I would encourage you to uh, uh, help people to get past some of their misgivings. We've lost a lot of people in this dance, just simply because of. I'm not telling you to be Superman. You ain't got to, you ain't got to save the world. But I think that somehow or another, the tide has to turn at some point in order for us to survive. That people have to feel comfortable and happy just to be able to do it. And I think that will contribute largely and over a large group for people to want to be involved more, and then that would increase the opportunities for people to want to compete. That's just my thinking.
And I agree. I agree. People got to really step back sometime and realize what was they why. Why did they want to learn this dance? Why do they get on that floor?
Mm-hmm.
What does it do for them personally when they get off that floor and go home? You know what I mean? I have a why. My why might be different from your why, B. You know what I mean? Might be different from Pete's why. But my why was when I got into the dance, it was I was going through stress. I was going through a divorce. I needed an outlet. You know what I
Right.
mean? So when I got into the dance, it was for the passion and for the love of the dance that I walk up out of there with my head held high, and I feel good about myself. And if a lot of people go back to thinking about the why and let these egos go,
Mm-hmm.
let these
Check them
egos go.
egos at the
You know what I
door.
mean? Check them egos at the door. And a lot of people get into this thinking it's money, money, money. Ain't no money in stepping.
I
Let me
don't know
just
how
be
many
clear.
times I done said that.
Ain't no money in stepping. You know what I
They
mean?
don't
So you
listen.
don't need to.
They be
If
counting
if
your
you
money.
want
Look,
to
they be counting your money faster than you do. Believe that.
they count your money faster than you do. They have a lot to say about it or whatever the case it may be, but there is no money into the stepping game. You know what I mean? It's the passion and the love for me. So, like I said, great trilogy, being up under Pete Frazier. Um, I mean, being up under him, man, I have no other choice but to succeed. You know what I mean? I mean, look at this brother, 70 years old and still looking like he's 40. So
Man, that's
he
that
ain't
good
nothing,
look. That's
he ain't nothing
Linda. Linda
stubborn.
Linda did all that. That only you ain't give him no credit for that. Linda kept him alive. He good.
Okay, he ain't let these steppers stress him out, doggone it. So I ain't gonna
Now
let nobody
and
stress
that
me out.
so yeah and then that's the other thing too when it comes to this, and that's something that that's a lesson that I personally have had to learn as well. If you're not very careful, these people will make you crazy if you let them. Real talk. You gotta you
Absolutely,
gotta
that's
you
real
gotta let it
talk.
roll off your back, man. You can't throw a rock at every barking dog. You'll never get where you're going. Um,
You gotta have thick skin. You gotta have thick skin. Everybody ain't gonna like you, and some of the main
absolutely.
ones smiling in your
Um,
face, they don't like you either.
Christine
So
Jones wants to know about pre-recorded music. Will the DJ be able to play the music and they go for what they know? That's a technical question, but you're not really changing too much of the format of the way things are done, or do you have different other small implementations?
I feel like Chicago has the greatest DJs.
Absolutely.
There's a lot of great DJs everywhere. Um, and sometimes you have to throw a little wrench in it and change some things up and just see how things work, you
Absolutely.
know. I'm not saying that I want to change what we got going or nothing like that in the other, but I ain't gonna lie to you. I've been listening to a lot of these DJs, but once again, you got some DJs that could play on the internet, but then when they get in front of 10 people, they shut down. You know what I
Facts.
mean? So uh, a lot of that plays a part. I'm not saying I'm an expert when it comes down to DJing. I do what I do. I stay in my lane.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so I stay in my lane. But what determines the DJ is the people, the crowd. You got to be able to entertain the people. You got to be able to entertain the crowd. You got to be able
Right.
to hold a party.
But now, when it
They
comes
are
to
the
the
ones.
when it comes to the contest, though, the music is usually selected by the contestants, correct?
That's true.
So all the
That
DJ
is
really
true.
has to do is play their selections. So that's not
That's
like they
true.
have to get out there and be a DJ. They just got to
No,
play the songs that were given to them by those contestants in that set, right?
absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely.
So
Absolutely.
just to Christine, just to help clear that up a little bit, that kind of give you an idea. That's not something that I think is going to be a huge change. Just making sure that the DJ is on point so that they handle their business. And of course,
And you got to think about it. You got to think about it. These contestants, they judge, they pick their own music, right?
right,
So they pick their own music, right? So my thing is, if I know that I'm going to get on the stage with somebody, I might not want to play something that everybody hear. I might want to have a throw off song that only I've been practicing to, or something that I've been dancing to.
right,
So guess what? That's on the contestants themselves. You got to learn how to adjust. You know what I mean? If you call
absolutely,
yourself a hitter, if you call yourself a stepper or a master dancer or whatever you want to call yourself, you got to know how to adjust. Ain't nothing always going to be what you might get your song, but whoever you dancing with might throw a throw off song on.
hmm
You got to learn how to adjust. So a lot of what I heard about the audience, they talking about the music. Sometimes you can't blame them DJs. It's some contestants that pick that music.
right. Yeah, absolutely. I agree with that. Because but you have a lot of people who are not, I guess, completely familiar with the way everything works. So that's when questions like this come up. It's helpful, under these circumstances,
Hmm.
to be able to kind of give them a little insight on how those
Oh
things
yeah.
actually operate. So yeah. Um, So man, you sound like you got it all figured out, bro. And that right there is, like you said, was with Pete right there, a phone call away. That's always a beautiful thing, and I'm sure. So will Tinley Park continue to remain the go-to space, or are you looking to make changes in regard to venue, or what?
But right now, it'll be at
Yeah,
Temple Park.
Okay, okay. Um, wow. Uh, at this point, what? Yeah. So this year it'll be you two. You'll be basically taking up the reins this year, Snoop, and in the following years or everything after that, it'll just be you, right? Okay. So are the Majestic Gents still a large part of this event moving forward, or is it just a Snoopy King thing?
It's a majestic gent.
hey, I gotta ask, man. The people want to know, baby.
It's
we def- we're gonna be definitely gonna be there to help them out in ways when we needed in that
Mhm.
aspect. So I mean, we got back up to that. But like I
Okay.
said, I
there
want
you
to
go.
just
You
kind
hear
of
that?
and stuff and the hurdles that he's gonna probably hit, and hopefully help him where he don't have to hit those same hurdles that I hit along the way when I got into this dance.
Got you. Yeah,
That's what
yeah.
it
It's
is.
always better when you got
Hey
somebody that
B,
already done cut the path. For
let me
real.
tell you something. B, let me tell you something, Brian. And this been how I am from the get go.
Mm-hmm.
And I say it. Loyalty is everything.
Hmm. Yep. That's a
Everything.
fact.
And I am loyal to the people that are loyal to me too as well. And that's a
Mm-hmm.
that's a relation that's a relationship without even being said. You know what I mean?
Facts.
So that's loyalty. And like even when I became a majestic gent, I told Pete, I said, Pete, I'll be a gent. It's about that business, but I'm Snoop and crew 110%. And
Right.
Pete said, okay, absolutely. I respect that. And I've
Mm-hmm.
been Snoop and crew 110%, but I also been a gent. You know what I
Mm-hmm.
mean? And I put my foot forward and I push. You know what I mean? I was out there working behind closed doors on a lot of different things that was going on.
Right.
They had to do with the Majestic Gems. So them are my brothers. You know what I mean? So I need my brothers.
Okay. Well, y'all have a ton of congratulations and well wishes. We've not had many other questions come through, But man, everybody is looking forward, I guess, to your taking up of the reins, and we're looking forward to what the future holds, man. So, bottom line is, get her done, get her done.
Get it done.
Yeah.
Get it done.
Pete, what are your plans moving forward?
Well, we're gonna still do the majestic dance things that we always do, our 3 parties a year, like the white party, New Year's Eve party and things like that. But, there are some things I'm doing. I'm trying to spend a lot bit more time with my grandson and stuff like that. But we're gonna keep our same agenda. That's the only event that we kind of took out the Ram was the World Lodge because that event takes a lot of effort and it takes a lot of work and it takes a lot of input. But for a regular party, I just want to plug that party, sell tickets in. So we're gonna do our basic stuff throughout the year as well. I mean, we got the Ultimate White Party coming up in July the 10th, 11th, and 12th, and some other things we got coming up this summer, the spring as well. But our agenda is still gonna be the same. Just gonna still be moving as we normally do. I just wanted to pass this torch to my man Snoop, and I think he's a good product to be able to handle it, and he has a level head, so.
It's monumental. It's definitely a monumental thing. Yeah. So it's big.
And doing that. So other than that, I'd like to thank you, Brian, for taking out the time, put us on your platform to be to the Steps community. And like I say, thanks for the support over the years with you guys, and hopefully you give my man Snoop the same support that you guys have given me in that aspect, but not the same headaches.
Hey, you better tell him, Pete. I'm gonna be on his ass, Jack. You got to get it. You got to have me right, man. Don't play no games. Look, damn it, I don't forget what the hell I was getting ready to say now. But listen, let me say this to both of y'all. I want to thank you both for offering Inside Stepping the opportunity to be able to put this message out and for everyone to use this platform to get this across to the public. And this is definitely a huge thing. This is a big move, and I'm happy to be able to be a part of that. And Inside Stepping will continue to be the beacon, if we can, the light in the dark for so many around the community, and get as much information out and deal with things as amicably as possible at every given opportunity, and continue to move the ball forward in the stepping game, and make this thing as best as it can be. And as long as we all continue to operate fairly and with one another, I don't see a reason why moving forward in anything in the steppers community can't work the way that it's supposed to. So that's a beautiful, beautiful thing, and I thank both of y'all for that.
And the World Largest, the tickets will be on sale. It's on sale April 1st. So you guys can go online and when I put that chart up and purchase the tickets, the tables, and all that stuff as well. We gave you the financial breakdown of those tickets, which is the same as they were last year. But that way, when you see that chart up, you guys know the tickets will be on sale. And if you're thinking about getting those tables and seats, definitely when they go on sale, try to get them as soon as possible, because we're not waiting for people to figure out when they're gonna get them and stuff, because those tickets go pretty quick.
Mm-hmm.
They're gonna go real quick.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what we're gonna push.
When prelims start when this year? Is it June?
Normally July. Okay, our white party is the second weekend in July.
Mm-hmm.
The prelim start that's following Wednesday. So I think that's probably around the 17th, if I'm not have the calendar in front of me. Whatever that following weekend after that white party weekend, which is the 12th, that's when the Chicago prelim start. So that information will be out as well when the prelims start.
Okay. Well, let me put this out there to my public, to the public in general, to the public at large. Listen, y'all, get out here and compete. Get out here, get up on stage, get a feel for what this is like. Become competitive. Don't worry about what other people are doing, what other people are saying, and what other people are thinking. Put on your dance shoes, get with your partner, get it together. Let's bring back the old days. Let's get back to a time when people was hungry for these contests, when people really, really, really wanted to get out there and shine. Y'all, a lot of people, and I know everybody don't want to be popular. Everybody don't want to be famous, but too many people do, but in the wrong way. But at the same time, you have an opportunity to elevate not only yourself in this dance, but to help others to move the ball forward as well. Because when you make an example from your own work, from doing the things that you do, you have other people that say, I want to do what you did. Can you help me? And we continue to help one another, and we build the dance, and it continues to grow, and we move forward, and everybody gets an opportunity. I encourage people
Like,
to participate. Go ahead, Pete.
like I say, Brian, I tell you all the time, life is short.
Man.
Stepping is nothing but a hobby. Dance. Enjoy what you love doing because at time waits for nobody. So at the end of the day, if it's something that you want to do, if it's something on your bucket list, don't let no one encourage you from doing things that they have tried to do, but now they want to discourage you from doing it.
That's
It's
right.
nothing but a dance. Enjoy it. Enjoy what it brings to you in that aspect, because most of us got more years behind us than in front of us. So hey,
Ooh-wee.
get out there and enjoy what you like doing. Life is short.
They say dance like ain't nobody looking, baby.
Exactly.
Ain't always dance like nobody else is watching.
That's right. That's right. Well,
And
gentlemen,
like he said, keep the love of it. Keep the love of the dance, man. Keep the love of the dance. Keep those egos away from the floor. Check those issues at the door.
Pete, you got any last words, my brother?
I mean, that was about it. I think we covered everything we need to cover. If you guys
Okay.
have any more questions, feel free to call me or call Snoop, and we'll definitely get those questions answered for you guys. And thanks for taking out the time to chime in on this. And we really appreciate it from the bottom of our hearts. And thank you guys.
Okay, Snoop, take us to tell the people something good, baby. You the man now. We want to hear from you.
All right, you want
You
me
the
to tell
man.
people something good? God is good. Hold on.
All the
Watch
time.
this, watch this, y'all. Hold on. Let me see something. Hold on. Where we at? All right, I'm gonna do it like this. Hey, y'all, where we at? God is good all the time. That's what I gotta say. That's what I got for the people.
All right, my man.
That's what I got for the people, man.
All right.
And
Well,
hey, support me. I need everybody's help. I need everybody's support. I need everybody's help and everybody's support. And once again, ain't no bigger you, ain't no bigger I. We can all do this thing together. Keep the love of the dance. And like you said, man, we losing a lot of people, man. It don't matter if you're young, old, whatever the case it may be. We losing a lot of people in this community. You know what I mean? We can talk about it all day long. They dropping like flies. But
left
guess
and
what?
right.
Me and you, we have another chance. We woke up this morning. You know what I mean? So make that a great one.
All right. Well, gentlemen, thank you. And I'm gonna get on here and do my last little bit to get out of here. And I want to thank both of you. And we look forward to what's coming, man. Congratulations, Snoop. We're looking forward to what you're gonna bring to the table, baby. Pete, we're gonna see you on the backside.
All right, buddy.
Peace, y'all.
All right, Snoop, I'll call you later.
For sure.
All right.
All right.
All right, bet. Call me later. Peace.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, there you have it. The changing of the guard. Now, I don't know how many of y'all remember me saying that there are a lot of things coming down the pipe, a lot of stuff that is happening, a lot of changes that are being implemented, not only dealing with our current economic situation across the nation. We have issues with flights. We have issues with TSA now because people can't get through the airports properly. We got people literally stuck in other cities and countries right now. We have the higher cost of putting on an event. We have a lot of negativity. We have a lot of things that are actually fighting against the beauty of something as simple as dancing. Dance is supposed to bring us together. It is supposed to unite us. It is supposed to make us happy. If you're doing it any other way, if you are angry when you dance, if you're angry after you dance, if you're angry at other people for dancing, you're doing it wrong. If you're angry within this community, period, you're doing it wrong. Somehow, some way, you must find your happy spot, your happy place. Maybe it's not in the dance. Maybe that's why you're angry. Maybe you should be doing something else. I'm just saying. Now, Inside Stepping is here. It's going to be here. We ain't going nowhere. We're going to continue to do the best we can to make it better for everyone else around this nation and across the world, throughout the world, that want to be and participate in this dance. I refuse to sit here and allow the dance to catch a black eye every time someone decides they want to throw their hat into the arena for stupidity. We have lots of opportunities to make things better. And sometimes they're very small opportunities and they don't seem like they make much of a difference. But believe me, collectively they do. So the better we make ourselves and the better you are as an individual, the better you make those around you, the better you make us all. And there's nothing wrong with helping the next person, with lending a kind word, saying hello, shaking a hand, giving a hug. It's just a dance, y'all. Although it is everything to some people, sometimes we just have to allow everyone to be who they are in their space. Let's not offend one another. Let's not cause problems. Let's just dance. Let's have a good time. If you're not having a good time, let me say it one more time. If you're angry when you dance, if you're angry after you've danced, if you are angry in general, maybe you need to find something else to do. I'm just saying. All right. With that, y'all, I'm Brian Forbes. This has been Inside Stepping. I appreciate each and every one of you. We will see y'all again on the backside. Stay tuned in the 9 o'clock hour for Popping with Poppy. She has a wonderful guest coming on tonight, and they're going to do a whole bunch of girl stuff. So y'all get ready for that. Popping with Poppy will be on here in the 9 o'clock hour. 9 o'clock Central, for those of you who don't know. Look, I love y'all. Ain't nothing you can do about it. We do what we do over here, and we're going to continue to. Have yourself a wonderful week, y'all. Stay warm for all you folks out there up north and on the East Coast, because we nice and warm down here. I'm just saying. That ain't no rub in or nothing. I'm just saying. You know, you feel me. The views and opinions expressed in this program are not necessarily those of its hosts, Urban Arts Enterprises, advertisers, or affiliates, and are those of the speakers and do not necessarily reflect any views or positions of any entities they represent. The information in this podcast is for educational purposes only and do not constitute legal or medical advice.